Hello and welcome to Straight Shooting with Dan and Joseph. Tune into this podcast to get the latest news on competitive shooting events and to learn how to become a better shooter. Remember to subscribe to the podcast and be sure to recommend it to all of your shooting friends. Hello, I'm Dan Kello here today coming at you with Season 2, Episode 1. Got Joseph Stacker here as well as Blake Lyles from 415 Training. Thanks for coming back out with us, Blake. We're happy to get Season 2 finally underway a little bit later than I had anticipated, but
it's been a long year.
It's been a long year and it's not even there. And today is May the 4th be with you.
That's right.
It's Star Wars Day.
Yep. Yeah.
May the 4th. Okay. So today, coming up in the show, we've got some ARA score updates, some USPSA updates from Dragons Cup Area 6 and the Nationals. What was the one y'all went to at Talladega?
That was the World Speed Shoot.
World Speed Shoot. That's right. World Speed Shoot. We've got ARA indoor season just wrapped up and a new announcement about the new ARA season time frame. A preview coming in of the low cap nationals for USPSA that Joseph and them are going to leave for in the morning. As well as we're going to talk about where did all the ammo go. Why is there a shortage, or at least our beliefs on why there is a shortage and if and when it's ever going to get turned around. So stay tuned as we get into those few topics. Okay, we just finished up the ARA indoor season, and we had a really good year. Lots of big scores. Our A-line national champion is Tim Martin from Tennessee. Second place, Bruce Doster. Third place, Eddie Robertson. Our overall aggregate or average score winner was Chuck Morrell from Bristol, Virginia with a 2391 ag. So out of a possible 2,500 points, he agged 2391, which is extremely good. And that was over 94 targets. You only got to have 20 to qualify. Wow. Most of the time for the aggregate, they get just enough and quit, but he didn't quit and had over 94 targets. Second place was Phil Dorman, and third place, Barry Maney. And then in our junior shooters, Elise Knott came in with a 2245 ag, and she won the junior A-line and ag indoor championship. So congratulations to Elise.
And she had a 2500 at Chickenfoot, right?
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
At the ARA Indoor National Tournament. So finished up a really good season there for the ARA Indoor season, the 22 bench rest. ARA also, drum roll, big announcement that's just come out is the indoor season. You're now going to be able to do that year-round. In the past, season has run from October 1st to the end of March because it was mainly a winter time thing because, I mean, obviously everybody was just getting the itch to go shooting when it was cold outside, so they come up with a few indoor places. Well, guess what? Now one of them places has air conditioning, so they want to shoot in there year-round. So we're going to open it up to go from January 1 to December 31st, just like the outdoor season. So that means for 2021, we're actually going to have two champions. We got 2021A just finished up. That was from last October 1st to March 31st, and then now the regular 2021 is going to then run from April 1 through the end of the calendar year, December 31st for this year. After this year, beginning January 1st, 2022, season will run January 1 to December 31.
So it's just kind of rolling into that.
Yeah, just rolling in that. Because it always was confusing because it's 2021 season. It was still 2020 in October, November, and December, and trying to get the calendar to jive on the website. And anyway, this will make life a lot easier, hopefully, for everyone. So search out those indoor places, and you can go shoot inside, not have to worry about the wind year-round.
It's almost cheating.
That's right.
I mean, that doesn't make it any easier.
That's right. It doesn't. Because all you do is everybody shoots higher.
Yeah.
Because 2391 ag is what you got to do to, and that's tough.
That would be a great selling point to go shoot indoor, but it's not.
That's right. Yeah, it's just it should be easy, and actually parts of it are easy, but it's not.
Just different parts.
Yeah, it's different parts of it.
The only difference is you can't see why you're missing.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. At least outside you've got a little bit of wind or something to blame it on.
Or it's easier, but it's easier for everybody.
Yeah. Exactly. So you just everybody's
raises.
Yep.
All right, we got coming up at the end of May, rolling into the Memorial Day weekend, the Triple Crown of Rimfire. It's all Rimfire bench rest events in Bristol, Virginia at the Kettlefoot Rod and Gun Club. It's going to start on that Tuesday before Memorial Day, and I believe starts on Tuesday the 25th. And on Tuesday the 25th, they're going to have the IR 50-50 Tennessee State Unlimited meters and yards at 9 o'clock. And then that afternoon, they're going to have the Mid-Atlantic 10-shot championships. On Wednesday, starts again at 9 a.m. You got the 10-shot national match. And then at 1 o'clock, they're bringing back the old BR50 target, and they're going to have what they're calling the Spring Nationals on the BR50. And BR50 is pretty well kind of the original unlimited 22 bench rest target. And it actually, everybody's nowadays, they've got 25 record bulls on a target. This had 50. You actually had 50 shots per. It's very, very similar to the ARA target. ARA took a lot of stuff from BR50. BR50 eventually went by the wayside. They really tried to integrate air rifle to be able to shoot alongside 22 long rifle and make it fair. And anyway, just didn't work out. That was actually before my time. I never shot a BR50 match, but that was the original one. Some guys have dug out those targets, got some more printed up, and they're shooting it just for something to have fun. They're going to have it's going to be basically a little money match.
Nostalgia.
Yes.
Nostalgia.
And then on that Thursday before Memorial Day, we'll have the Whole Shot Arms PSL match beginning at 9 a.m. And then on that Friday beginning at 9 a.m., they have the ARA Virginia State match. And then Saturday and Sunday will be the Triple Crown event, which Triple Crown, it's called Triple because it's ARA, PSL, and 50-50, all three sanctioning bodies. They'll start off with an ARA, 3 targets on Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon they'll have 3 targets of PSL, and then you'll come back on Sunday and have 3 targets of 50-50. So it's a really fun event, brings all the disciplines together, makes for a really large event, and they've got shooting every day. So everything's match by match. The only thing that's more than one day is the Triple Crown. So you can come in there and shoot Tuesday, Wednesday, and take a break or whatever. Come shoot the whole week.
How many shooters would be at a match like that?
Quite a few.
Yeah, there'll be probably for the Triple Crown about 100, a little bit more. So it's there in Bristol, Virginia. They got plenty of hotels and everything because it's Bristol Motor Speedway where they run the NASCAR stuff is not too far away. So obviously they got plenty of hotels for that thing. So that is coming up. Make plans to be there. We're going to be there, and fingers crossed, looks like we might have some match and 10X ammo there. We're going to do everything we can to be able to take some match and 10X ammo to that event so people can show up there and actually test some ammo before it gets bought out. And we can make sure that our competitors are actually getting the ammo and not some of the hoarders or people are just looking for any 22 and buying 10X to go shoot 10 cans.
Right.
Because we do want to take care of our competitive shooters. Competitive shooters are our bread and butter. And when this crisis with the ammo is over, that's who our customers are. So we want to make sure we take care of them because they help take care of us during normal times. So that is going to be our main topic for today that we'll get into a little bit later. Where in the world did all the ammo go? We will get into that in just a few more minutes. But before we go to there, I guess the most recent or the first one y'all went to was Dragon's Cup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was kind of a scheduling conflict between Dragons and Area 6 because they're both major matches and people would have loved to have been able to shoot both of them. So it's kind of a controversial thing. But a lot of really good shooters showed up to both of them. For Dragon's Cup, we were there. I shot all day Saturday. I think, did you shoot all day?
All day Friday.
All day Friday.
In the wind.
It's tough shooting in Odessa all day long. And the wind was there. I think.
And it wasn't even hot yet.
Yeah, it wasn't hot. It was just dry and windy. And it was like 50 in the morning. And it only got up to like 80, maybe the 80s.
Maybe. 80,
If that.
85. It wasn't.
But the wind was just the wind and the dirt because you're basically in a big caliche pit.
Yeah.
And it's just dirt flying everywhere. And it was a good match. It was actually a great match.
It really was. It was super good.
As far as how it was set up, the stages that they ran, they were still shooting those stages like this week, getting ready, getting ready for nationals. Your overall was Casey Eusebio. Max Leograndis was second. He's a PCC monster. Max Michel was third overall, shooting carry optics. Eric Liu.
Those two were just a percent or so away. They were real close.
Yeah, and that's insane, honestly. Eric Liu was fourth, shooting open, and Joseph Rapadas was fifth, also shooting open. So you had two in the top five that weren't open shooters, but one of them is probably the best PCC shooter in the country, and the other is probably the best
shooter
production carry out, like factory gun shooter in the country. And then at Area 6, Max Leograndis actually shot both matches, and there were a couple people that I met that did that, and they basically finished Area 6. They either shot the staff day or the first all day that was available, and then flew down here to Texas to shoot dragons, and that's a long weekend.
I've tried two majors in one weekend, and it's not. Yeah. It's tough.
Especially doing in a one-day format.
Yeah.
That would be really tough. But Max Leograndis won the overall on that, and that might be like his home area, I think.
I believe he's up in the Salt Lake area.
Maybe.
So I think he put on that PCC.
So did JJ not shoot Dragon's Cup?
He did, but he shot production.
Oh, okay.
So it was a little bit different. And Casey shot a really good match. I would have loved to have seen him and JJ kind of battle it out for the high overall and the open.
Shooting the same platform.
Yeah. But it would have been tough. Casey shot a really great match.
Oh. Open versus production. It's
that's tough. That's a tough fight.
JJ's awesome, but that'd be
that'd
be world class if
battle.
he. Yeah.
But Max won PCC at Area 6, and then Ethan Howell was second shooting open. Chris Tilley, he's been at the top for a really long time. He was third overall shooting open. David Lyle was fourth, and then Dexter Bradley, who is part of AMU.
Don't know that name.
I believe.
Maybe. AMU definitely has some teams.
I think he is. He was fifth, and then Christian, I've got him at sixth, but the reason I added him on here, Christian Seiler, is because he shot limited this match.
Okay.
And was sixth overall and won limited overall over like Shane Coley and all of the top limited guys. And he's only shot open. Like he only practiced limited for like 2 weeks going up to the match.
Yeah.
And so you take a dot off of his gun, it's basically all it is, and he still shot really well.
All right.
He's a heck of a little shooter. Yes, he really is.
How'd you do, Blake?
I shot well. So Max made us all look pretty dumb. The second place carry optics guy is a guy out of San Antonio or Austin. San Antonio, I think. Tyler Norcutt. He was second place, 87% of max.
He was in my squad, and he's a beast.
Yeah, he shot. I didn't realize he was that good. I've shot against him a few times shooting open and him shooting carry optics, but I didn't realize. I don't know if he's improved that much, but he's been working at it real hard. But he was 87% of max. And between him, if you take max out of it, and 15th, there's only about 100-point spread or something like that. It was pretty close the first. Okay. But I was down a little ways, 13th.
You were top 20.
I was 37th overall and.
Well, in open.
Yeah, and then I don't know, 15th or 13th or something like that.
Carry optics not open.
Yeah, correct. Carry optics. Yep. I was okay with it. I had 3 penalties for the whole match, and that match was just asking to have penalties.
Mm-hmm.
There was hidden targets and no shoots and hard cover on a bunch of targets.
All of them.
Yeah.
It really was a great match, and it was a difficult match as well.
The rest of the matches for this year will probably be, you'll go, wow, that was kind of easy.
Yeah.
Because if it's much harder than the Dragon Cup, it would not be fun.
Right.
And the Dragon Cup was probably about as hard as you could make it and still enjoy the match and not just go, geez, this is not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought they did a really good balance of that challenge plus still the fun.
And there was a lot of options,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if that increases the difficulty or takes away from it.
It doesn't change the difficulty, but it usually makes a person indecisive,
Yeah.
which probably makes their game plan fall apart because they can't decide, do I go here, do I go here, do I go here, and they just thinking about it, then they don't get a game plan. Then you'll see them
get
shoot,
lost. Yeah.
and then halfway through, when they see that kind of gun drop and their eyes go, where am I going next? You go, whoop, they didn't get that plan very well.
Did I go with A or B?
I don't know which I went with now. So.
Yeah. But it was a great
It was.
match, and I watched Blake shoot a couple stages. I watched Casey shoot a couple. Him and Jesse were both there. I watched Max shoot a few, as well as JJ, and I felt pretty good about how I was shooting. I had some gun issues the last like 4 stages just from the dust and everything, and I was in pretty good contention up until that point, and even then I had an okay-ish finish. I'm happy with how I finished, even with the problems that I had, but without them, I definitely would have maybe been somebody.
So close.
Yeah, so close, but we'll see. Now I'm just getting ready for 2-gun.
All right. So when's that? Is that your next big match too? The 2-gun nationals.
Double tap championships this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to
double
open for that, so we'll see how
Yeah,
the cards fall.
He shoots double tap.
Double
which
taps in
is-
Wichita Falls, Texas.
Yep.
and that's we'll be at nationals, low cap nationals, or else I would
Right.
probably also be shooting that match.
Right. So you're going the low cap just to represent the Ely brand, not shooting or competing or anything, just going to shake hands and kiss babies.
Yeah.
There you go. And then I guess 3 weeks after that, 4 weeks after that's PCC, 2-gun, something like
2-gun.
that.
Right.
Fairly quick.
It's on the pretty much. 2-gun's on the 4th, June 4th, I think.
Sure.
That's what I've got.
And that, right, and all that's at Talladega, right? CMP
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Club in
Everything
Talladega,
is there.
Alabama.
Mhm.
Yep.
Tell me about that range. Have you been out there
I
yet?
have not.
It's amazing. It looks like a country club. Like, honestly, like a lodge. It's got a huge lodge. It's all gated and fenced off. It's up in the mountains.
I know for rifles and stuff, they've got a lot of electronic targets
Yeah.
and really fancy stuff
so
like
when
that
you
at
get
different distances.
there, it's kind of a windy road, and there's security gates and stuff like that. They've got a big, huge lodge, which is also like a storefront. They've got clothing, and I think they sell some ammo and maybe some guns.
They got ammo?
They had a little bit when we were there, and
They won't now.
right behind that, there's a big hill, and it drops off into like their 3-position
Mm-hmm.
range.
Yes.
And it's all electronic scoring. Same thing that they do, like what we're used to with the Olympic shooters and college athletes and stuff like that. And then maybe, a mile down the road, it gets into really long range ranges. Like they've got like 1,000-yard range. And then a little bit past that is their pistol setup. And it's more than 12. They had a lot of bays, and they're all set up. It's pretty much a straight line. It's super easy. You start over here and you end up over here. It's not a whole lot of walking, and all the vendors are pretty much right in the middle. So like us and Brian, there was a couple gunmen, like Lead Star was there.
Brian,
some
you
of
mean
those
Brian
guys.
Connolly with 800's
Yep.
HD Gold.
Hunter's HD Gold, the man, and it's a really good range. You got to have a security card. You got to do you'll have to do a class. You have to watch a safety briefing, and they give you a safety card, and they tell you that anybody can check you for it at any time, but they don't.
Does Brian usually work those events by himself?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I say he's upgraded his display.
Yeah,
the last year I didn't.
he did what I wanted to do. So he got a van,
Yeah, he's got the Mercedes.
like a live-in
van.
van, and
Yeah, it's nice.
it's
Yeah.
like a
Heck of a setup.
it's like a showroom in
It
the
is.
back of it. He's got all his guns. If somebody has a gun that goes down, they can come borrow one from him. Like he has literally every division, multiple guns that would fit whatever you're shooting. And at the World Shoot, there was a couple people who their guns went down, and they came over, and he's got like an identical setup of what they're running.
Wow.
And they pick it up. He's like, you might want to try that first. I don't know if it's sighted in. And I guess it was because
Well, it's better than not competing.
at least you get to keep shooting.
At least you're putting something down range.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome. A great service there that Brian offers.
And that's
folks.
like his home range, too.
Yeah, because he done.
At Talladega.
All right, so then y'all went there for the WSSC, the World
Yep.
Speed Shooting Championship.
Which is Steel Challenge, and it was a huge turnout. I mean, it was a major success. There were multiple kids who set new world records, like multiple world records were set, and
Most of them doing that in rimfire, right? In
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, and Casey, he won. He won the
Casey who?
Eusebio, the guy
yes.
who won Dragons. He won high open for that as well for the centerfire. He shot the same exact gun.
Well, I think he won combined. I think he won overall. I think, didn't he?
High overall, I think so.
I think so. I think. Hope we're not misquoting.
I don't think so. But he won both of them, and that's a totally different type of match.
Right, yeah, because there you're doing shooting speed still, so it's timed. You'll do the same course of fire 3 times?
Five times.
Five times.
times,
They
that's right.
toss your worst 2. They keep
Worst
your
one.
best.
Worst
No,
one.
worst one.
Worst
Is it
one.
just
They
one?
keep the 4.
Okay.
Other than one of the strings is a 4-string, and then they throw out the one. You keep the 3.
Okay.
And so they've got all different divisions on that. They got,
Oh gosh.
I mean, for the rimfire, they've got pistol as well as gun and open and limited and
rimfire optics, rifle rimfire optics,
And irons.
and yeah, well that's the
Yeah,
rimfire. They
right.
just call it rimfire optics,
right.
or rifle or pistol. It just I think there's 13 actual divisions or something like
Well,
that.
and I can't remember her name. The girl from Alaska that
Yeah,
was here
they
the
call
other
her
day.
Alaska.
She shot every division.
Oh wow.
Because
Good
we were
gosh.
there and we took a little bit of what little bit of ammo we had, and so people were coming up. It was gone like that. But when she found out that we were there, she's like, "Yeah, I tried to stop and say hi to y'all, but I was shooting like 13 division." Yeah, you don't have time to do anything.
No, golly.
Yep.
I can't
difficult.
imagine that. I mean, even at a club match, I've tried to shoot just 2 guns at a club match, and my brain doesn't process that.
Yeah. Which it would be a lot easier to shoot multiple divisions for Steel Challenge than it would be for anything else.
Yeah. There's no real game plan.
Nothing
It's just-
changes,
yeah.
yeah, other than your equipment.
Okay. So Blake's going to double tap this
Yes, sir.
coming weekend. What's been going on at 451-415 training?
We've had a few good classes. I've had a class with the Humble Marksman, which went really, really well. It's on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Had some classes, just percolating along, just kind of.
And you've been having some small matches out there as well.
I've started having. I call it my mini match because I've got 3 bays, so I'll run one squad. One of my berms is not tall enough to have multiple squads safely, so I'll run one squad, and we've had
I got
17 shooters on one of them.
5th at the last one.
Yeah.
I did good. I beat him.
4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one he was at was actually, I think that was 17 shooters or something like that, which about is as many as I can run on one squad to really get us through the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was quite a few.
And it's kind of ironic. My range, my setup, my stage design, and I can't shoot my match to save my life.
Well, that's why.
I think so.
I'll be
That's
honest. I mean, I learned that from running rimfire bench rest matches.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten where now if I'm running the match, I don't compete.
Yeah.
It's just too much. For
Well,
me
it was
to-
the same.
so-
I imagine it was the same for Billy.
Well,
at
Billy shot pretty
Dragons.
well though.
He
was
did
on
do
my
well.
squad. He shot well.
He did do well, but I
But-
think that's a huge,
Yeah.
huge weight on your back,
Yeah.
having to run and
Well,
work the match.
And in between stuff, he gets called. Hey,
Yeah.
we need this. We had that. He's getting called, and he literally would show up, and they say, okay, what stage are we on? Where are we doing? Where we
Yeah.
start? They'd be like, okay, here.
You're basically working the match, and then where you can fit it in, you go and shoot
a
a
few
stage.
rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos to Billy for that, because that not only did he shoot pretty darn well, he ran a really good match,
Yeah,
and
it
he
was
did those at
random.
the same time. But even Robert Porter will say, well, I talked to Robert Porter a couple of times about that guy at Wichita Falls. He says you can either be a good shooter or a good match director, but you can't really do both at the same time.
Yeah, I
And
totally
Billy did.
agree.
Billy did.
Extremely difficult. ready to go home, take a nap after that was over.
I think everybody was.
Yeah.
That was a long day.
That was a long day. They have really big bays down there, and 8 of the really big bays had really big movement, and it was a really pretty physical match.
Long stages.
All right, good deal. Well, that'll wrap it up on that. Now let's move along. Where in the world did all the ammo go? There used to be ammo everywhere. We never had any problems, all right? There was 9 mil everywhere, every store shelf.
You can put a map.
And not just ammo, the components, too.
Yes. We could
Brass,
buy that.
bullets, powders
We
now.
could load it all. It was cheaper. I don't say it was cheap, but it was a heck of a lot cheaper than it is now. On Federal's president came out and had a video that addressed a lot of this. I know a lot of people saw, and somewhere in there he had said that in 2020 there are 7 million new gun owners that came in. So if you think about that, so you got 7 million new gun owners, not us who go buy a gun every year anyway.
Yep.
But
First time gun owners.
So if you think about that, if they just buy 1 box of ammo to go with that gun, it's 50 rounds. That's 350 million rounds above normal of what normally is going to be sold in that
if they
year.
only bought 1 box.
Yeah, if they only bought 1 box, which if they're like us, I mean, we only bought 1 case, 1,000 maybe.
Say, 1 box would just make me mad.
Yeah.
That's exactly. So, but a lot of these people were I imagine there's a fair amount that only bought 1 box because they were buying it for home protection or something like that. And maybe they went out and they might have bought 2 because they thought they were going to go practice or have some lessons or something.
Yep.
So you've got that. Then you put on top of that the kind of the COVID scare where everybody didn't really know what was going on and buying some stuff just in case because didn't know what was happening. It was scary times with everything shutting down, so everybody's stocking up on food and fuel and water and toilet paper. That's right, and toilet paper, the great toilet paper crisis of 2020. And so they also, people that were normally buying ammo bought more than they normally did. Then when you think about it from a factory standpoint, if you're running a factory and you sell 100 million rounds a year, well, the most economical thing to do is to make 100 million rounds a year. So you're only going to be at a capacity of what you're selling. Now generally you can up that a little, but I don't know that you can up it 350 million rounds plus the extra rounds from everybody else stocking up. They couldn't. You can't. So that had a shortage. Then you put that on top of the fact that, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would venture out there and say that every ammunition factory in the country, probably in the world, shut down for COVID. At some point was closed.
Every business that was over an X amount of employees had to.
Yeah.
Like legally had to for at least some period of time.
Well,
it was all different.
And then even after the shutdown, they're probably still on COVID restrictions. So
yes.
But then also the trickle on that is the people that supply them with things.
Right.
Yes.
Including parts to fix, parts that it takes to make either ammo or components, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
So not only are they on the bitter edge of not making enough during normal times, you have increased demand, and then you got this huge shutdown to where you can't. Where there's no production, and they're going on. So they all come back up in production. Guess what? They sold everything they had in the warehouse to make up for that kind of stuff, which was good for them business wise, but now you've got to get ramped back up, started back up, get everything going, and realize because most of them were probably running 1 or 2 shifts to do normal, and so they already have all the equipment. They don't necessarily have to invest in new equipment, but you do have to invest in more people to run more shifts, which that don't happen overnight. You got to, because I know like with Ely had been running 1 shift, they went to running 2 full time. Well, basically what you got to do is you got to take some people from the first shift and get them to go to second shift so that you got experienced loading machine operators or whatever they're doing, making bullets, making brass. And then you got to hire all the new people and train them. So, I mean, it realistically is 3 months to get going, if not 4 months, to get going to where you legitimately have a new shift going that's as good as your original shift.
Well, and on top of that, you have these like secondary issues where, okay, we need 50 more employees. You are not gonna find 50. You're not even gonna get half that because with everything going on, between the checks getting sent out, people that are on unemployment, whatever it is,
Yes.
you're not going to find all the people that you need to fill these positions. And that's just another part of the problem.
Right. And so then you go into the fact that it's not only ammunition manufacturers that are having this problem. It's the powder manufacturer.
Yeah.
It's the
Every
primer manufacturer.
Yep.
The cardboard box manufacturer to put the stuff in. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had trouble getting cardboard
Wow.
boxes.
Yeah, foam,
You don't think about that.
bubble wrap,
Wow.
And,
plastic paper.
and it was we sell rock and sock drummer thrones that are made for musicians, but our bench rest shooters sit on them to shoot at the bench all day. Normally, when we order those to sell them, it's about 3 months is given during normal times that it's going to take to get them. I called last week to order some more, and they said, okay, we'll have those for you in December.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's the seats,
Wow.
and it's the same thing, too. We've got our that provides our boxes for us shipping stuff out. Normally, it's 2 to 3 weeks on them, and I'll place an order every 2 to 3 weeks. Well, the last one took 6 weeks to actually get here instead of 3. The Ely ammunition that we get into Kello Shooting Sports comes over from England, and actually, so basically they got to truck it from the factory to the port. Goes in a sea container at the factory. That's trucked to the port. The port puts it on a ship. The ship takes it over to the Boston area in the U.S. Then that's got to go through customs and go to our importer, who breaks it down out of the sea container and puts it on a truck to take to Texas to us. And honestly, the slowest part in that, the rest of that was not that far behind until we got it on a truck here in the U.S. And normally, if it leaves the factory, it's almost exactly 30 days, it'll be at our door. Time it goes through that whole process on average. But this last one took 6 weeks. And
Wow.
it was largely due to the trucking between here and there, because the trucking is just so backed up with freight and getting everything in. I mean, I don't think it's anybody's fault. I think, because we were hounding on everybody to get everything done as quick as we could, but it's just
It's another symptom of this mess.
exactly, because all the freight providers are messed up. And another thing that England's kind of going through, but I think they're pretty well out of it now, is because they just finished up Brexit, and everybody was worried about them leaving the European Union, and we're trying to get things done at that year end, and so they had a lot of the sea containers in the wrong place because everything was going out and there wasn't hardly anything coming in, so all the sea containers were leaving, and of course you don't want to send a sea container back empty. And anyway, I know that was a little bit of an issue that they faced over there as well. But from everything I can see, as far as conspiracy theories and things that I've heard about, we haven't sold any ammunition to the government.
No. There's no conspiracies. It is flat out supply and demand. The demand is astronomical. There is no supply that could meet this demand going on right now.
Right. And I know federal ammo has been kind of hard to come by, that a lot of the USPSA shooters do, and I largely think a lot of that is they do have a lot that goes to the government.
Yeah.
But as far as we can tell, they don't have any more going to the government than normal.
No, it's the same.
Just they just lost that production time.
Yeah.
And so they've got those contracts they got to fulfill, and that means the general consumer suffers. That's who loses the ammo, is the general consumer, because they have that allocated.
Well,
that has to go to the government
starting,
contract.
because just like you said, once everything kind of opened back up and it was not business as usual, but we can start doing business, whatever we have is all gone now.
Yeah.
Well, so if everybody's starting at zero now, anybody that has, pre-approved like contracts or obligations, stuff that they absolutely have to get done, that's going to happen first. And so whatever you're making, until you make enough to fulfill your obligations, that's the only place that it's going. And I mean, we don't have stuff like that. It's ours is only going to customers. There's just 7 million more of them now, on top of however many we already had.
Yep. And even once the demand quits, it's still going to take a while for the shelves to restock.
Yeah.
I mean, because we normally kept 2 to 3 million rounds of 22 on hand, just as general, normal, everyday inventory, and we're down to 0.
Nothing.
Wow.
I mean, we literally literally sold
it
every
all comes
box,
in and it all goes out
Yeah.
within a week.
Yep.
Wow.
Usually we would have, a handful, a brick over here of that, everything. We've sold even that, and
It's easy to track, really easy.
yeah, that's right.
Whatever
that's what
we
it says.
got in, that's what just went out.
Yep, it's real easy on inventory because
I was
we just
gonna
did
say.
that month end, and I was like, yep, we don't have none of that. That's 0. That's 0. That's 0. The inventory count was super fast.
You can take inventory from your desk.
Exactly.
And it sucks. I mean, I get it. The the worst days at this job are days that we get ammo in
Yep.
because we get angry phone calls. I get hate mail. I get hate emails. And that's just. I mean, there's nothing that can fix it.
Yeah. No.
It's just some people are going to get it, some people aren't. If you had to work that day, if you were sick that day, didn't get on your phone or check your email, whatever it is, blame it on that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything is going to be a reason that somebody misses out on it at this point.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything about it. We're trying.
We're trying. It's just too many people wanting ammo, and there's just no way for us. The fairest way to do is to put it on the web and just it's first come first serve. And I realize there's issues and too many people overloading and
it's
so many
been
people
like
on there.
this maybe once ever.
Yeah, 2013, 2014, 2015, Obama was a really good ammo salesman, and believe it or not, I think Biden's even a better ammo salesman.
His little brother, I mean, it's the same office basically. So to think that the same thing wouldn't happen again, obviously it is.
Yeah.
But there used to be some protection, like the 10X. It used to be protected by its price.
Yep.
To your normal person, like somebody that doesn't know what it is, doesn't shoot that, like they've got a 1022, you don't need 10X out of that.
Yep. Which is about for everybody listening, it's running about $180 a brick, 500, and that's normal price. That's not raised for COVID. That's what we get every day.
Yeah, the prices are the same, and
we had like a 3% price increase because raw material has gone through the roof.
But now that protection that those higher lines of ammo had from their cost is not there. Like it's to the point now, people that don't know what it is don't care that it costs $20 a box. They're still buying it because that's all that's left. I mean, that's for sure the last thing to go.
Yes.
By 5 minutes.
Well, it realistically, it's like by about 44, 45 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we literally got in rough numbers about 1 million of stuff that went for 45 a brick, and that went in 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then we got about 1 million of the stuff that went from 145 a brick to 180 a brick, and that took a little less than 2 days.
Yeah.
And so
that was the few people that said, "Oh, I can find it cheaper.
Yeah.
I can find something cheaper somewhere else."
Yeah.
Nope, I can't.
yep.
I guess
But-
I gotta buy it.
And another way to put how crazy it is, we were able, because we work so much with Ely from the through the UK, part of Ely UK, they were able, when all this started happening, to get some stuff from Fiocchi in Italy before it had hit over there. So they were able to get small pistol primers for us and get them over here. So we go to put small pistol primers on the website. Well, primers have to have a hazmat fee.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to figure out on the website how to charge this $35 hazmat fee plus normal shipping just on those items and not on anything else. And our website can do it, but we had never done it before and had to get everything set just right. We had never sold primers before. We've never even had them on the website. We don't even have a category to put them in at the time. And we put them on because normally on that kind of stuff, you put them on for a little bit and then you can kind of work it out and figure it out.
poof.
I was gonna say,
we put them on, and
broke the internet.
before
It
we
literally
could
did.
figure out what was going on, we already had 15 orders on them. I mean, and this is a matter of like 2 minutes
Wow.
that they were going. It was like, whoa, 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 people are buying them, people are buying them. And shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. And I couldn't believe, because that was as fast as that was how many people were searching that the search engines actually
You're
found
just
them on our
Googling
website.
primers, small pistol primers.
And I was flabbergasted. I was like, holy cow. And then the other thing was, I was like, man, it didn't charge the $35 hazmat fee on any of them. We're about to really lose some money here.
Nope.
Because some of them were, so I was like, we're going to have to call them and get the hazmat fee. I was like, well, this ain't going to be no fun. They're not going to be happy about it. Yeah,
They're
nobody
fine with it.
complained once.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was, can I get some more?
Yeah.
Whatever I got to pay, I'll pay it.
And
Well,
anyway,
Midway right now, a lot of times they'll get some primers in, but they limit you to 1,000.
Yeah.
So it's 1,000 primers, one box this big, but plus shipping, plus a
Yes.
hazmat, which ends up being, and I think they're $54 a thousand or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, it ends up being $80, $100.
yeah,
for-
so you're paying 8 or 9 cents a piece. As to where used to, it was 4 cents.
yeah,
So more
with
than
the
double.
shipping
Yes.
and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, total everything. That was, yeah,
It's-
and
it's-
it's
Well, yeah, and that's
mind blowing.
it really is.
that. I don't think that we've had much issues with people buying it to resell. I mean,
We've got a few in here. We've got some that have got the bots figured out, which I don't
Yeah.
totally understand. That go and find and get some. We've tried to like I say, our bread and butter customer is competitive shooters, and of course we want to take care of them. And we realize though there's a lot of mom and pop shops around that are struggling to get ammo. I mean, because I went, honestly, I went through this in 2013, 2014 when I still owned Kello Shooting Sports. You would think that was a really good year, but we were so limited on ammo. Yeah, we sold everything we got, but guess what? We couldn't get hardly anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and we really struggled financially that year just because we didn't have enough to sell.
Right.
And so I feel for these mom and pop shops. Yeah, they sold everything, and that was really good for that month, and everything went out. But hopefully that's going to tide them through for a while, because now they don't have nothing to sell.
Yeah.
And the cash flow is up and down, up and down, up and down.
Or down and down.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's getting tougher. And then of course, every time Biden says anything about any type of new restrictions or anything, that just ups the demand even more, scares more people into going and becoming new gun owners.
It does the opposite of whatever they're thinking it's going to do.
And anyway, as far as when is it going to get better?
Don't know.
I
Two
mean,
years at this point.
I mean, my honest opinion is maybe at midterm elections in 2022, if the Republicans win a few seats. If they do not, I think it's going to get even worse. If they win a few seats, then they'll come, because that's kind of what happened when Trump came in after Obama. As everything kind of calmed down, everybody went back to normal, and we had fairly normal sales. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I think it's a valid opinion. I do know, I have a friend that watches Gun Broker, and he watches primers because when he finds somebody tries to buy them, and he said that prices on there were going down.
Okay.
So I would say that's got to be at least a sign going kind of towards a normal direction. Not that it's normal, but it's going. And I know Midway's starting to get primers in, and so I think, but like you said, all it takes is one. Oh, we're going to do this, and there it goes again. But
and I think a large part of that is because CCI and everybody who's making the primers, they do have finally got the people on to where they're running 2 or 3 shifts, their production is more out. It's been long enough now that I think.
So it's maybe not necessarily the supply. It's the demand. The supply now is kind of catching up a little bit.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, we're getting as long as it makes them available. Because honestly, at the end of the day, especially on primers, if those double in price, that's not going to totally kill you. Because I mean, we're talking about 4 cents to 8 cents.
Yeah. Well, and like somebody told me the other day, primers were $34 a thousand for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
They never really inflated, so they kind of they've just now inflated to what they probably should have been anyway.
Right.
They just did it overnight instead of.
Yeah. It is a little different now because I'll see like 9 mil for as long as it's less than $1 a round, I'm like,
Well, I bought
that's
some.
not a bad deal.
I bought,
That's a terrible deal.
well, that's crazy. I bought some the other day to supplement my primers, and it was 45 cents a round.
Yeah.
And I was.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
right now in today's
Well,
day.
it is, but dadgum, it's not. You know, every time you pull the trigger, I'm throwing 2 quarters on the ground.
yeah.
Boom, there goes 2 quarters.
Yeah.
Boom, there goes 2 quarters.
Considering,
You can
that's
pick
a good
up part
deal.
of that quarter though.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah, well, and actually, I have started picking up some of that quarter too. Actually,
Turned into an actual open shooter, saving all your brass.
when I shoot open, I save the brass. Now, when I shoot 49 mil, some
Not so
days it
much.
stays on the ground.
Because that's the other thing that's gone up drastically in price. If you've got lead or something laying around, go take it down to the scrap metal place because all the raw materials have gone through the roof. You can really get good money on turning in your lead and brass and stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
So take that.
Because all the
that.
components that we use to reload are in short supply.
Yep.
Yes.
Bullets, brass, primers
Yes.
are just almost non-existent,
Powder.
and powder's getting pretty close to non-existent.
Yes. And part of that is to the actual raw materials becoming in short supply. And again, I think that was back to they shut down too. They weren't mining it or making it or however you come across that particular raw material.
Well, and some of the people that are getting into this, I've got a buddy of mine said he's going to get into He said I can't buy stuff. I'm going to get into reloading. So he was going to buy a press, and then the press was
Yeah, the presses. you can't
6
get.
months out at least.
Yeah, we've had.
But then if you got a press, you could make ammo
Yeah.
anyway because you can't get parts.
So we're on Dylan's list for like approved distributors, and we've had guys call us and like, that's not something we carry. So when they ask me, I'm like, well, no, we don't have that. But I get it because we're on their list for
Gotcha.
like stores that sell it. But we've had a bunch of people call and try to get Dylan's. I'm like, man, we don't. I know we're on their little list or whatever, but we don't actually sell those.
Yeah. And if you could, you wouldn't have them to sell.
Yeah, exactly. We did have one, and like it lasted like a day. That we had an extra one that we
Yeah,
put
we
on
did
there,
buy
and
one.
it did not last long at all.
But now it's sitting in somebody's shop, not doing anything because they can't get stuff anyway.
Exactly, because they probably couldn't get the components in.
Hopefully, it is doing something.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, very good. Well, Blake, we thank you so much for coming out and
you
joining
for
us
having me
again
again.
today. And we're going to do this again before too terribly long. Next episode, tune in, and Joseph will go over the Race Gun Nationals and what all happened at that. We're going to be talking about the new Whole Shot Arms rifle tuner we've been using on our 22 bench rest guns. And also, we had a lot of questions over ARA A-Line. We just talked about the Indoor A-Line Championship. What in the world is A-Line, exactly how to work, and how do I win that particular championship. So we thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure and subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a review and follow our YouTube channel. Check out KSS and Ely on Facebook and Instagram. And remember to go to our website, straightshootingwithdanandjoseph.com. Thanks a lot. Until next time, we'll see you at the range.
Cool.